Agatha Raisin by M.C. Beaton. Dramatised for radio by David Semple. Starring Penelope Keith as Agatha. Episode 4. The Civil War.
This is the 10:07 train calling at Kingham, Charlbury, Hamburg and Oxford. We apologise for the late departure of this service. This was due to the late arrival of the preceding one.
Is it me, or is British Rail losing the will to live? Even the excuses are disappointing.
Perhaps that's why they got rid of it 20 years ago and replaced it with individual operating companies.
Thank you, James. Why do I always have to sit next to the anorak? Right, let's go through the facts. 1 year ago, a crime wave came to Garsley, and something like a dozen houses were burgled.
Fast forward 1 year, and we've now found the culprit. He's been buried in a box at the bottom of your garden.
At least we think he's the culprit, and he's been buried with everything that was stolen in my garden.
A very good place to hide a body. Under those undisturbed weeds, you could have all the war dead of the Crimea.
And there's plenty of room for one more. Now, the body is Jeremy Hicks, 19-year-old son of Mrs. Hicks, widow of this parish. And the police confirm he was buried a year ago.
Which is odd, because the mother has been telling all and sundry that her son was at Oxford enjoying carnal relations with a French student called Fifi.
So why would she lie? Did she know her son was rotting at the bottom of my garden?
What a poetic turn of phrase, Agatha. You really should become a bereavement counsellor. Perhaps Mrs. Hicks had a falling out with her son and didn't want anyone to know.
Yes, because we also suspect the son was a homosexual.
Homosexual.
What?
It's from the Greek root homos, meaning same, as in same-sex attraction, as opposed to the Latin homo, meaning man.
Well, we'll never solve this murder if I don't even know basic Latin.
I just think if it's worth saying, you may as well say it correctly.
We're not going anywhere.
Well, that's no reason for sloppy pronunciation.
I mean, the train. We keep grinding to a halt.
Yes. Perhaps that's why Sherlock Holmes did so well. He didn't have to contend with a privatised rail network.
And he didn't have a sidekick who was a complete pedant. This calls for a cigarette.
Agatha, this is supposed to be a non-smoking compartment.
And this is supposed to be a moving train. I'll keep my side of the bargain when they keep theirs.
Oh, Mrs. Friendly.
Mrs. Hicks, I just had to come and pay my condolences.
Yes, of course you did. Come in.
Do the police have any idea what happened yet?
Oh, no. Or if they do, they're not saying. Sit down.
Oh, thank you.
There is a part of me that hopes they never find out.
Really?
Well, the thing is, we hadn't been in contact for nearly a year. But I left his room exactly the way it was. His stereo, his clothes in a heap. Because one day I knew he'd come back to it. And part of me still feels that. I can't even tidy up now, because it'd be like murdering him again.
Oh, there, Mrs. Hicks.
It's unnatural, isn't it, for your child to go first?
I can't think of anything worse in the world, but, there is something I wanted to warn you about.
Oh, yes?
A lot of people in the village are asking questions about why Jeremy left home and what happened to him. I heard Mrs. Raisin and Mr. Lacey talk about it over the garden fence. They've gone up to Oxford to talk to one of his university tutors.
They mustn't. I don't want them finding out about Jeremy and his private life.
Enter! Professor Wolfe, I'm James Lacey, and this is Agatha Raisin. We spoke on the phone.
Oh, so we did. Please be seated.
We're not interrupting anything, are we?
Well, I was just digesting my roll mops whilst contemplating all the possible anagrams of Gerard Manley Hopkins. Nearly hard poems, king, heap, my lord's anger, ink. They throw such light on his work, don't you think?
Yes, fascinating. Well, we wanted to talk about a student of yours, Jeremy Hicks.
Oh, Jerry! What's he been up to now? Do you know, his attendance has been so bad this term, we're thinking of having him sent down.
Well, he has a very good excuse. He's dead.
What?
I'm afraid it's true. He was murdered, and we want to find out what happened to him in his final months.
Jeremy? God's finger touched him, and he slept.
Professor Wolf, we have a few questions to ask you.
Well, I don't see why I should talk to you. You're not the police.
No, but I'm sure there's a lot you want to get off your chest, particularly as the two of you were lovers.
Who said that?
Jeremy did.
I think it's overstating it to say we were lovers, although he did come to my room and read me his poetry.
Did his mother know about your relationship?
I can see this is going to take some time. I'll go and get some tea.
Agatha, how did you come to that conclusion?
It wasn't hard. When I mentioned Jeremy's name, a mist seemed to form on his half-moon glasses.
Can you read my thoughts the way you read his?
Yes, but they're not all that interesting. What I want to know is why the professor didn't seem bothered that Jeremy had been missing for a year.
Oh, these Oxford dons don't have any concept of time. Sitting in a 500-year-old college reading 1,000-year-old poetry.
Speaking of ancient, I wonder how Jeremy's mother felt, knowing that he was sleeping with someone old enough to be his father.
Well, we don't actually know they were sleeping together.
Oh, no. They sat up all night writing rhyming couplets.
Look, even if they did engage in a physical act, is it any concern of ours?
If we're investigating his murder, then yes. Why are you so embarrassed? You really are like that professor. You live in your own little dreamland, and anything to do with emotions or sex terrifies you.
There we are. 3 cups of Earl Grey's finest.
Thank you.
So, was there more to your relationship than discussing iambic pentameters?
It wasn't a relationship as such. He used me as a confidant and told me what was in his heart.
And what was that?
About that one-man war he was waging with his hideous hook-nosed mother.
Hook-nosed?
Oh, yes. A most prominent proboscis. She made Virginia Woolf seem quite petite. Mrs. Hicks disapproved of our friendship.
I'm rather surprised you told her.
Well, you know the way it is with young people. One day she was saying to him, "You're a disgusting specimen. You never tidy your bedroom. You don't do a thing to help around the house." And he replied, "Oh, and that's not all. I'm having an affair with my personal tutor." And then last June, Jeremy told me of his decision to leave home.
Professor?
Yes?
There's a police gentleman here to see you.
What? Oh, well, I'm almost finished with these people.
I'll tell him you won't be long.
Hold on a moment. This policeman, what does he look like?
Well, quite short for a policeman.
Oh, yes, 5'2", half Chinese.
That's right. Shall I show him in?
Definitely not. Just keep him waiting outside.
Right.
Professor, our local police officer has followed us here, and he's not going to be happy that we've interfered. Is there any other way out of your office?
Well, you could go via the window and find out if Isaac Newton was right.
Is there a cupboard?
If you can squeeze in next to the E M Forster first editions.
Agatha, there isn't room.
Nonsense. Since I started smoking again, I've lost 6 pounds.
Oh, dear. I'm not quite so agile as I used to be.
Take a deep breath, James. We're going in. No. Yes. No. I'll go over there.
Enter.
Right, I thought Professor?
Yes?
I'm surprised to find you alone. I'm sure I heard voices from outside.
Yes, well, I was communing with the spirits of Virgil and Shakespeare.
Virgil and Shakespeare, eh? And which one of them has a squeaky voice? Well. So you didn't quite make it through to Narnia, then?
Hello, Bill.
Detective Constable Wong. There's a perfectly innocent explanation.
No, there isn't, Colonel Lacey, but I'm sure back at the village we'll all think of one. Now, if you two would wait outside, I'll give you a ride in a police car later. But first of all, I want to find out what else Professor Wolf has got in his closet.
Well, thanks for the lift.
You're welcome. It's always nice to have you two where I can see you.
Do they have any idea how he was killed yet?
Nice of you to ask, Mrs. Raisin.
Sometimes I forget why I do my job. It's not to solve crime. It's to provide you with bits of gossip.
Come on, Bill. We've helped you in the past.
And almost got yourself killed in the process. Well, if you must know, I was stabbed with a kitchen knife. Now, can you two do me a favour?
Of course. What is it?
When you go to the funeral, make sure you ask lots of awkward questions. See if you can antagonise the whole village, snoop into everybody's private life.
Bill, I can't believe you just said that.
Neither can I. But as you never seem to listen, I'm hoping that, as usual, you'll do the exact opposite to what I tell you.
Not much of a turnout, really, all things considered.
Well, nobody knows who they're really burying. Is it the nice young man who carried their shopping, or a yob who was responsible for all those burglaries last year?
Well, there's not a lot of him left to bury. After a year decomposing in your garden and being poked about by a pathologist in search of every single-celled life form...
James! James!
Speaking of single-celled life forms...
Oh, James, I can't bear it. It's all too much. Oh, hello, Mrs. Raisin.
Hello?
Yes, Mrs. Friend, it's a very tragic occasion.
Oh, do call me Dorothy, please. I just can't believe that someone so young and so full of hope should be lying in the ground. Of course, it's not just losing a son, it's discovering that your little boy was a one-man crime wave.
We don't know that. We only know he was buried with stolen goods. No one knows how they got there, and he can't tell us.
I suppose you're right. I was one of the lucky ones. He didn't take anything from my house.
No, he seemed to be quite discerning about who he stole from.
But people forget. It's not just the mother who suffers. Everyone who knew him is affected.
Yes, you do seem awfully affected.
James, can you hold me, please? I think I'm going to faint.
Lord, where exactly should I hold?
Well, you're rather spoiled for choice. Look, we'll get Mrs. Bloxley. She's trained in first aid. Come on, James.
But I'm fainting.
Well, you can lean against the wall, then. It's almost as plastered as you are.
Oh, Agatha, don't you think you're being a little harsh?
Oh, don't be so naive, James.
What?
It's an obvious ploy. She wants you to take her in your arms and hold her close.
But she was crying. She was obviously upset.
She wants you to carry her home and give her the kiss of life. All women use tricks like that.
All women?
No, I mean not all of us, obviously. Only the needy ones. Right, let's go and see Mrs. Hicks.
Well, she's just getting into our car.
Oh, well, grab her before someone else does. Oh, dear, she's being besieged by women with cake tins. Mrs. Hicks!
Mrs. Hicks! Mrs. Hicks!
Oh, it's you. I wondered when you'd catch up with me. I suppose we should have a word.
My goodness, the women of Carsley have been busy baking.
Yes, do take some away with you. They keep coming round with one cake after another, as if it somehow makes up for it.
I'm sure they mean well.
I'm sure they do. Here's your coffee.
Thanks.
I've eaten so much cake this week, I'm starting to look as if I'm pregnant. Oh dear.
There. You have a good cry.
Mrs. Hicks, what did you mean when you said you wondered when we'd catch up with you?
Oh, yes. Be sure your sins will find you out. I knew you'd come for me sooner or later.
Sorry, I don't quite follow.
Well, you two investigate murder. And I committed the murder. I killed my son.
Mrs. What?
Oh, no, not with a knife in the middle of the night. That wasn't me. But I threw him out of home. And that's why it all happened.
And why did you do that?
Why do you think? I knew about his dalliance with his personal tutor. And I told him, well, if this professor cares for you, then he can look after you. I threw him out. But I've no idea what happened to him next.
Mrs. Hicks, you told us your son was doing very well at Oxford and was in a relationship with a woman.
Yes, because I wanted to believe it. I kept thinking perhaps his feelings might just have been a phase. And then we could have made peace one day.
Yes, or if your intolerance was a phase, you could have made peace straight away.
Mrs. Raisin, please don't judge me. I thought a short, sharp shock would make him forget all his funny ideas. But he was much too proud.
I wonder where he got that from. Thank you for the coffee, Mrs. Hicks, but we've got a lot more people to see before your son can rest in peace.
Agatha, don't you think you were a little harsh on her?
Certainly not. She treated her son like a criminal, so he behaved like one. Jeremy was thrown out of home. He may have phoned his professor for some help and advice, but he also needed money. And luckily it was a hot summer's night, so quite a few cottages had their windows open.
Agatha, I think we may have to have a pause in the proceedings. There is the small matter of my Civil War reenactment.
Oh, that thing. Just put them in chainmail and tell them to beat the hell out of each other.
Firstly, royalist soldiers did not wear chainmail. Secondly, I do have to ensure both sides follow authentic military strategy.
Well, you can still help with this.
No, I can't, actually. I don't think Oliver Cromwell solved murder mysteries on the side.
No, I don't suppose so. Men have no idea how to multitask.
Oh, yes, apart from winning 6 major battles, executing the king, establishing democracy and the Commonwealth, the man was quite useless.
Oh, stop whittering, James. Well, if you won't help, I shall break the habit of a lifetime.
Oh, dear. What are you going to do?
I'm going to see Bill Wong with my evidence.
Come in. Mrs. Raisin. Do have a seat, unless you'd rather hide in my filing cabinet.
I know who killed Jeremy Hicks.
Do you? Who was it?
Someone whose house was broken into. I think it was an act of revenge.
Well, you've narrowed it down to a dozen. Everyone on your street except yourself.
Well, I was on holiday. Anyway, I've got a burglar alarm.
Oh, and Mrs. Friendly. You never touched hers.
Oh, that is a pity. I was hoping to put her behind bars.
Do you have anything else you can tell me?
No.
Well, it's not much to go on, but it's an interesting theory. We did search every house at the time of the burglaries, but we were looking for fingerprints, not dead bodies. However, you really haven't given us any new evidence.
Well, we have to start somewhere.
Well, we do, Mrs. Raisin, but you don't. Now, I suggest you go home, have a nice bath, and see if there's anything good on television.
I wouldn't have thought so.
But please leave me in peace. I've got work to do.
Bone of our bone, flesh of our flesh, in Christ. Now is the time to fashion your ploughshare into a sword and march under the flag of king and country. We shall set forth and...
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Hello? I'm on the battlefield.
Would all the Roundheads and the Cavaliers please turn off their mobile phones? We have perfectly good heralds and messenger boys, and we may as well get the use of them.
No, I can't, Doris. Look, I've got to go. Sorry, my liege.
Don't mention it.
Let us set forth and defeat the invader.
James, I think Bill Wong's got a cheek. I mean, if it wasn't for me solving all his murders, he'd be demoted to a traffic warden.
Agatha, do you mind? I'm in the middle of a Civil War reenactment.
Well, you and your friends can carry on killing each other. Don't mind me. Though I'd have thought you'd have grown out of it by your age. I mean...
Out of the way, please. Pike staff coming through.
I say, it's rather good fun, isn't it?
Your idea of fun is middle-aged men squelching about in chainmail.
How many times do I have to tell you? There was no chainmail in the Stuart period.
Mrs. Bloxby, if you can put the cream teas on the trestle table next to the fake blood. Thank you.
James, how did you feel when you had your laptop stolen?
Oh, you're still here. Well, if you must know, I was somewhat peeved at the first draft of my book on it. And in the end, only the maggots got to read it.
Did you feel so angry you could have killed the person who did it?
Don't be silly. A kick up the backside would have sufficed.
Maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree. No one would kill someone because they stick their animal vile.
Oh, I don't know. A strange man bursts into your house is going to put you on edge. And people do strange things in the heat of battle or the fog of war.
The fog of war! Well, it was the middle of the night, and no one could see a thing.
Agatha, mind the battering ram.
Of course, how stupid.
There is nothing remotely stupid about it. It's completely authentic.
No, I mean me. I've been assuming the killer was a burglary victim, but it has to be the one person who claims she wasn't burgled.
Sorry, I don't follow.
Well, if you had a struggle with an intruder and ended up killing him, the last thing you'd do is call the police and report the burglary. You'd keep quiet about it.
So our killer is likely to be someone who apparently wasn't burgled.
Give the man a coconut.
You weren't burgled.
I was in Madeira.
It was Mrs. Friendly.
Precisely.
Oh, now, hang on a minute. She's the one who invited the Historical Society and the Council to the archaeological dig.
At that stage, the dig was already planned. However, the Historical Society might have advised us to look elsewhere, and the Council could have refused us permission.
So she told them in the hope they'd call it off?
It's a distinct possibility.
Oh, now, hang on. Everything you've got is circumstantial.
It has to be her. She lives next door. Who else could drag a chest through a hole in the hedge?
Well, look, when this battle's finished, we might just pop round there together. But whatever you do, don't go on your own and accuse her.
No, of course not. I'll just have a quiet word.
Once more, the blast of war blows in our ears. Be not afraid. We will never be free until this enemy is defeated.
Well, Mrs. Raisin, I've heard of Cinderella, Rumpelstiltskin and Snow White, but this is one fairy tale too many.
So you deny it?
Of course I deny it. I was very fond of Jeremy. I wouldn't have hurt a hair on his head.
Except that you didn't know whose head it was. It was the middle of the night. He'd just broken in, and Jeremy had an alarming habit of changing hairstyles. You might not even have recognised him.
Of course I'd have recognised him.
In the dark, too scared to turn on the light?
Mrs. Raisin, you really should write detective fiction. But if you go round presenting this as fact, I may have to sue you for slander.
I'll see you in court. You used to keep a knife by the bed, didn't you? It made you feel safe.
I do feel safe, living in the country.
With rural crime on the rise, police stations closing down. So when you hear a noise in the night and don't know if it's a squirrel or a killer, the knife makes you feel safe. But you never ever want to use it. That's the last thing you want to do.
There isn't a knife by my bed. You're welcome to go and have a look.
It isn't there anymore. You washed off the blood, got rid of the weapon, and you buried the body with a trunk full of stolen goods.
Did I, Mrs. Raisin? Did I?
Now is the time to root out the intruder. Spear them with spikes and drag them to the dunghill. Cut off their heads for trophies and leave their trunks for the crows to feed on.
Beg your pardon, Mr. Lacey.
For heaven's sake, I'm trying to choreograph the English Civil War here.
Sorry about that. Any idea where Mrs. Raisin is?
Off on one of her crackpot theories.
Oh, dear. Any idea what that theory might be?
I'm intrigued, Mrs. Raisin. However did you come up with such a preposterous idea?
Well, it's all down to my cat, Chivers.
Chivers?
I've noticed she often disappears in my garden. Then I saw a hole in the hedge leading straight through to yours. Not an enormous hole, but it must have been bigger a year ago.
Well, I'm sorry about that. It makes me a very poor gardener, but it doesn't make me a murderer. So, who have you told this outlandish story to?
No one. Oh, just the police.
What?
I'm surprised that bothers you. If you're innocent, you have nothing to fear. If you're guilty, you should give yourself up. You'll get a shorter sentence if you admit to it. And you'll spare Mrs. Hicks the agony of another day not knowing.
Who the hell is that?
Well, there's only one way to find out.
No, it's no one. It's only Jehovah's Witnesses or someone selling sandalwood soap to raise money for the blind.
Would you like me to get it?
Don't move, Mrs. Raisin. They'll soon go away.
They don't appear to be going.
Very persistent people, these Jehovah's Witnesses.
If it's the police and you don't answer, they may take that as an admission of guilt. They might even think you've taken me hostage.
What a ridiculous idea. Now, sit down, Mrs. Raisin. I have a headache, and I'm not in the mood for any more visitors.
Fine.
Well, if they go away, we'll know it wasn't the police, and you've been talking nonsense as per usual, and I suggest that in future you keep your slanderous theories...
Agatha!
James, where are the police?
On their way. but I thought I'd beat them to it with a highly authentic battering ram.
This is my house. You have no right. This is my house.
Dorothy Friendly, I'm arresting you on a charge of murder. You do not have to say anything.
No.
But it may harm your defence if
No.
you don't mention when questioned
No.
you later rely on in court.
No.
Anything which you do say will be taken down. Well, thanks for helping me tidy up.
You're welcome. I enjoy scrubbing fake blood off paving stones.
Well, you'll be pleased to know it was such a success, they want it to be an annual event.
How thrilling. So, who won?
Oh, well, Oliver Cromwell. It's called historical accuracy, you see. We always have to let him win.
Wouldn't it be nice if just once we could change the script?
Are you talking about Jeremy?
Yes, and Mrs. Friendly. She's going to be sent to prison for a single moment of panic.
Yes, I think you're right. There's more than one person responsible for his death. Unfortunately, it's the one with the knife in her hand who gets arrested.
Time for a cigarette.
And what time would that be, then? Between dawn and dusk?
James, I need these. Sometimes they're the only thing that makes sense.
Agatha?
Yes.
Did you mean what you said in Oxford?
About losing weight since I started again? Well, it was a bit of an exaggeration.
No. About me being like the professor, not totally in touch with my feelings. Do you think I'm... what's the phrase? Emotionally repressed.
Well, how can I put this? Yes.
Oh. Well, the thing is, how do you, get in touch with your feelings if you've always tried to keep them under control and then you suddenly decide you need them?
It isn't hard, James. We're all alone here. We're two grown-ups. You can say whatever you want to me.
Right. Well, I just wanted to say, when I knew you were in the house with Mrs. Friendly and Bill told me that I had proof she was the murderer, I've never felt so scared in all my life. Because you're more than just a neighbour. You're the most wonderful friend.
A friend, James?
Yes. A very good friend.
Thank you, James. Thank you.
In Agatha Raisin, Penelope Keith starred as Agatha, and Malcolm Sinclair was James. Linda Barron played Mrs. Hicks, and Joanna Brooks, Mrs. Friendly, with Simon Treves as Professor Wolfe, and Stephen Hogan as D.C. Wong. Agatha Raisin was dramatised by David Semple from the novel by M.C. Beaton, and the producer was Carol Smith.